Rusk has developed a very unique approach to creating buzz and making noise for brands via social media. His role as an author, MC, speaker, influencer, personality for brands, and social media strategist has enabled him to influence those around him. His forte of being able to make his crazy ideas a reality are what makes SocialBuzzTV.com a reality today. It's no mystery why Sebastian is referred to as a walking billboard and the creator of buzz. SocialBuzzTV.com was conceptualized and founded by Sebastian in March of 2010. With more than 12 years of experience in marketing and online ad space, Sebastian has a real knack for not only thinking outside the box, but showing there can be reasonable thinking inside that box. He has a passion for social media, creating buzz for brands, and spreading the word on the power behind the digital space, which has been the driving force to launch SocialBuzzTV.com, bow tie and all. I'd like to now introduce Sebastian Rusk.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? Is that door shut over there? Because those employees will quit by the time I'm done here. Do we need to close this? I get loud and excited sometimes. Are we okay? Okay. Awesome, and we're actually live streaming this on Periscope, so I'd say hello, but we're going to do that at the end. So I kindly ask if you need to get to the front of the room, if you can go that way. Otherwise, I'll tackle you. Not kidding. What's happening, everybody? It's a good-looking bunch here. Made the trek up from Miami, and it's always good to be back up in Palm Beach County. Is that where I'm at? Yeah. Excellent. What a massive venue here at NCCI. Thanks so much for having me and for hosting. This is fantastic. So let me start with social media sucks if you don't know what you're doing. I was cast for a reality show probably about 3.5 years ago, and I had to fly to New York for the day to meet with the executives. It was a day trip. They flew me out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got into the city by 10 o'clock. My meeting was like 55 seconds, and they just want to look at you and ask you why you want to be on reality television. And they send you on your way, and my flight wasn't until about 6 o'clock. So naturally, I wandered over to Times Square, and I stood there for a second, and I said, I am in the advertising mecca of the world, and everyone is looking down at their phones. Right there, it clicked, and I said, we are in the midst of an incredible shift in the way we communicate. The way we communicate will never happen again. Do you understand? Sending a fax, I mean, it has to be a dire situation of no means of technology happening. I had someone ask me to fax them something last week, and I kindly said, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. How do people get mad if someone calls you? You couldn't text me first? Let me know you're going to call. I make it a point to make phone calls because they're so personal and no one does them anymore. Handwritten thank you notes, things of that nature. They really count and they really sink in. Today I want to talk to you about social media and public relations. Why? Because this sounds like the right crowd to talk to you about social media and public relations. Not that I'm familiar with the world of PR, but building a brand from nothing, and I don't say that to brag, I'm just extremely proud of being able to leverage nothing and make something over the past 6 years. And I've continued to have an ongoing conversation with my public relations friends, and no one still seems to get it that social media and public relations coming together is an incredible, incredible relationship, not to mention powerful relationship. And I'm going to get into some reasons why, but here's my reason. So if someone says, Sebastian, as a public relations professional, what do I need to be doing pertaining to social media? I'm not a how-to social media guy. I'm just here to disrupt your thought process and invite you to consider the idea of becoming the go-to source for what you do. So it's that friend you can call for anything. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, you broke down on the side of Alligator Alley. Pick up the phone, they pick up in one ring, and they're there. Or maybe you're that for someone. Imagine being the go-to source for what you do as a business, remaining top of mind. Public relations, marketing, advertising, all those drive the customer in the door. Social media keeps them there. Why? Because we have the unique opportunity of continuing the conversation from after the first interaction. Once they're in our ecosystem, it's our job not to sell them, but to provide as much value as we possibly can to people that probably will never buy from us. And that's a big rub. Wait a second. I'm going to market, I'm going to advertise, I'm going to provide value, I'm going to write a blog post and help someone, but there's no immediate return. There's no tit for tat. Yeah, absolutely. Because when you do that, you become the go-to source for what you do. So if and when that person needs what you have to offer, you're top of mind. It's a no-brainer. Think about a chiropractor in your room. I bet everybody in this room could refer me to a chiropractor right on top of your head. Or a dentist, or an accountant, or a PR professional. Just kidding. So that's my book. I don't read books, but I wrote one. Had a unique opportunity a couple of years ago and was introduced to my publisher, and they had no social media strategy whatsoever, so I immediately identified an opportunity, and they said, hey, have you ever thought about writing a book? And I said, well, I think about it every day, but the thought of actually writing another chapter makes me want to punch myself in the face. And I had been writing it for about a year and a half, and it was an ongoing process. I thought 30,000 words. I'm at like 1,000, and it's been 6 months. So I said, well, we've got a talk your book program. And I'm like, well, I can talk for months, right? So they said, well, why don't you give us what you've come up with? Why don't you give us your manuscript? I'm like, I don't know if we can call it that, but I'm going to give you what I have. And we'll assign you to an editorial team, and you'll have an editor that will work alongside you, and we'll just break down what you've come up with, and you can continue to add to that process. And after some time, we'll have extracted what your story is. So we did that in probably about 4 months. I think I broke records. I think we got the book recorded in like 4 days. I was like, we need to do 2 hours a day. I'm like, can we do 4? Because I wanted to knock it out. So we started that process in November, and I got the book in March. So it was a hybrid between major publishing and self-publishing. I was able to use an old photo shoot that I did a couple of years ago, branding food, to work on it. So how this whole thing became a reality, it just blows my mind, but I feel extremely blessed with the opportunity to have a platform to tell my story. The book is not a how-to. The book is my story on how I build a brand from nothing. And if anything, maybe it shifts people's focus on what they should be thinking about pertaining to social media and their brand, but maybe it might pull somebody out of the gutter like I was in 2008 and say, hey, you know what, I hate this job, I'm out of here, I'm gonna go follow my dreams and build my brand. Or maybe I need to find another job, or maybe something to be able to disrupt and think differently is really the goal of the book. So it's available for $15 wherever books are sold, and if you want to buy it, awesome, I really appreciate it, but don't forget to write a review on Amazon. So this is a little bit about me. I'm a social media strategist, I'm an author, and I create buzz for brands. So our agency, SocialBuzzTV, handles the setup, strategy, and ongoing monthly maintenance of a brand's social media strategy. The category of one is that I am very much involved with that process. A, I'm on the client's team, and B, usually if it's a product or service or event, organization, something that I can wrap my head and bow tie around, then I'm an integral part of that process. So I'm talking about the product, endorsing the product, using the product, telling people about the product, doing events around the product, etc. So when I start the conversation of social media and public relations, if you're doing a grand opening for a client, and you bring Sebastian in the bow tie and his crew in live tweeting and posting, working the red carpet and the step and repeat, and we're periscoping the event, I'm creating content in real time before Channel 7 even makes it back to their newsstand, let alone the station, to get the story out, maybe if something doesn't bump that process. But SebastianRusk.com is my brand. That's why I speak and talk. It's all I really want to do is talk and educate and motivate and help people better understand what this world of social media is all about and where we're going, and maintain a level of transparency with the brands and individuals that I work with. Who I am in person is who I am, or personally, is who I am in business. I mix everything together. I talk about everything. We get a little edgy sometimes. We talk about politics when it's funny, or maybe somebody puts a man bun on Donald Trump, or I'm a devout Christian. I talk about going to church all the time. And then I talk about also going and having a beer after church. So it's very unique, very transparent. People are like, this is a little bit different. So I have a 14-year-old daughter, a full-time single dad that I raised. She was with me last time, and she was my Periscope camera girl. But she's 14. She thinks she's 40. But she's 14, and it's just an absolute pleasure to be raising such a stellar human being, way better human being than I am. So she keeps me in line and keeps me focused, and yeah, here we are, folks. So there's my contact information. In the event you don't get my card or grab it, you want to take a picture of that, or somebody's tweeting at the hashtag social media sucks. Are you guys surprised? So SocialBuzzTV is an integrated marketing solution that helps businesses and brands build online communities using social media to leverage and get the word out, the local celebrity and a following around what they're doing. I I want to start off with one of my favorite quotes from one of my mentors and good friends, Bruce Turkel. Anybody know Bruce? Your brand is not about you. Who's this guy? Security. A good brand makes you feel good. A great brand makes you feel good about yourself. There was one more from Simon Sinek. It was, your brand is not about you, it's about what it does for other people. Hashtag real talk. Social media and public relations. First of all, the content's got to be awesome. What's not happening, I believe, in the realm of public relations is that your world is so fast and it's so real time and it's so contact driven, and that email or that person I'm following or my black book or phone call or right time of the day to catch them, and is the story going to get bumped because of world crisis or what's going to happen? It's so fast and it's so crazy that social media by default takes a backseat. So creating content on the fly, it's like, some of the stuff that I see sent out, I have to stop. I'd be grossly negligent not to message someone and say, listen, I'm saying this with a lot of love, but that post and that grammar though, and I say this privately, as a favor, but I reach out to people just because I feel I'm very negligent if I don't. But the content that's being created, think about what appeals to you. That eye candy works. It tugs on those emotional heartstrings, and you're like, I kind of like that. That's neat. So what do you mean, create awesome content, Sebastian? You got to keep your audience in mind. Will the content be valuable to them? Remember, not about us, about them. Use online data to stay on top of trends. Google Trends is really good for that. We want to talk about stuff that's relevant, but at the same time, let's not talk about what everybody else is talking about, right? Unless it's something that's a world crisis, something that like what went down in France on Friday. The social media did not suck then because we all unified as one. Just the world really did, and it was unfortunate. But Facebook. Talking about this isn't in the presentation, but the one thing that stuck out in the middle of all that crisis was that Facebook implemented a feature immediately called Safe. So if you were in Paris, you could click Safe and it would notify your followers and people that are within your community that you're okay. Whew, gives me chills to even think about the process or the thought that we actually have to have something like that. But in that case, social media does not suck, and that's incredible content. Facebook allowing us to be able to be notified, to change our profile pictures to the French flag. It shows a unified front that we are here standing united and together. You got to make it easy to share the content. I see too much content without unique sharing abilities. It takes a long time to copy and paste. Don't do that, okay? All you have to do is just click and say something. Click and say something. Because I think just click and sending something out, click and say something. There's tools for creating awesome content. Any Canva fans in here? Canva.com? Canva's great. The Meme Factory allows you to create memes, all kinds of fun stuff. Meme-matic, another meme app. So people are always wondering where these crazy memes come from. There's a meme factory somewhere. They're being created. Over is a great app I use a lot on my smartphone. Allows you to put words on there, hashtags. So if you've got an event, so let me give you an example of creating great content. So we've got a client grand opening happening. It's going to be going down in Palm Beach Gardens next week, and it's for a brand new golf course, right? And the brand new golf course is called brandnewgolfcourse.com, right? So my hashtag is going to be brand new golf course. It's going to be a picture of the golf course. It's going to be a picture of West Palm Beach. It's going to be a picture of Social Buzz and Sebastian, his bow tie. He's going to be there as well. And we're going to send that flyer out because two's always better than one. And more buzz, we can always get more buzz into the mix. That's the idea of creating awesome content. And I don't say just to throw myself in the mix. I'm giving the talk, why not, right? So I say it so that you can better understand what to give you an idea. So any talking opportunities that I have, I always share what their flyer is. I throw my picture in there, put my logo of some sort, and I create that kind of a collage to send that out to co-brand us, right? Because it's a fit for the client that's having me come talk, and it's also a fit for me because it gets me to show off that I get to come talk for all you awesome people, right? You got to pay to play on Facebook. So that was their original strategy. We're going to give it to you away for free for an extended amount of time. We're going to get brands and businesses on board, small, medium, and large. And then we're going to start charging you in order for your content to be seen. We're not going to charge you a lot because we have over 1 billion users. So we don't need to charge a lot, but we're going to be charging you something. So if you're creating blog posts, if you're creating videos, if you're creating original content, I highly suggest running an ad for $5 or $10 or $20. All the data is there to be able to focus on exactly who you want to go after, what areas geographically, and what audiences you want to talk about. Again, completely different talk. I'm not a Facebook ad expert by any means at all, but I understand the general scope of making sure your content is seen and paying for that process. You can promote your page. People say, how do I get more likes? You need to get your wallet out, because you're able to target who's there as well. You're not going to go buy a bunch of likes, because here's what happens, right? It's not about being called out on fake people on your page, because that's inevitable. That will happen because it's 2015 and everyone knows what a fake follower is. If you have 10,000 people on your page and no one's engaging or looking at your content or sharing your content, ding, 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 those aren't real people. So people see that. So aesthetically, people start to judge you, right? And we all judge, all of us. Some of us talk about it, some of us don't, right? I'm talking about judge based on seeing content. I'm not talking about judging other individuals. Running ads on Facebook. There's like, I think I counted 11 different ways to run ads on Facebook. You can promote your page, you can get more video views, you can get somebody to click on your website, go to your event, a Facebook event. There's multiple options, and they make it so easy that a 5-year-old can walk through that ad platform and be able to set up an ad and launch a campaign. You can start it, stop it, analyze it. Before you get into better understand what's going on with the campaign, the client likes that, right? You're like, listen, let's throw $100 at this month and see what traction we can gain from being able to do that. Once the client knows I've spent 100, and we go into the analytics and the platform tells us based on how much you spent, cost per click, how many impressions, how many people hit the link, how many people to your website, register your event, etc. It becomes more valuable to the client, but it makes you more valuable to them, because you're like, wow, we're running Facebook ads now, Because I can only imagine public relations has been around forever today. It's old school, right? So along with old school comes old school way of thinking, right? PR's pretty much been the same game for a long time. It's all about your Rolodex and who you know and who your niche demographic is that you can go and be able to bring and shed light on. All right, so these hashtags, okay? So these are getting a little out of control. And this isn't in the presentation either, but hashtags are not afterthoughts, right? So hashtag so over it, like all those, that stuff is, yeah. Hashtag duck face. That's been a new one lately. Hashtags are utilized to categorize and organize content and information. They're utilized so that when you type social media sucks in a picture that you post from a luncheon here, you can go back to Facebook, or you can go back to Twitter. You can even go to Google and you can search for that hashtag, and all the content for that hashtag will show up. No one owns hashtags, right? So you maintain hashtags by dominating and creating new content, making sure you're staying on top of it. I'm not the only one that uses social media sucks, but usually when someone's using social media sucks, it's because they were outed on something, or someone broke up with them and shared it. It's probably like a teenager, most likely, goes and does it. But the goal of hashtags is to be able to organize information. Again, you got that grand opening at my brand new golf course in West Palm Beach. You want to make sure you're creating that hashtag so that when you go back, not only your content is showing up, but everybody's content showing up, because that hashtag is a marketing tool. That is a PR marketing machine before, during, and after the event. Can I get a commitment by raise of hands that everyone is going to use that hashtag at their next event for their client? Okay, fine, half the room, awesome. We don't do events, Sebastian. Know your audience, will you? You want to utilize that. People are using hashtags for weddings now, right? People are using hashtags to tell us that their baby's, 12 weeks old. Is that the same as 3 months? Just checking. Just checking. It allows us to categorize information. I've been able to utilize, ever since hashtags became popular, I remember now going back and I'll work with a brand and they say, hey, can you send me some content of what you've done for another hotel or for another car company? And I'm like, searching my YouTube channel, I've got all this information. You've got to dig for a little bit, but you type a hashtag in, all that content pulls up immediately. It's crazy. And I'm able to just grab it and throw it all together. It's very time consuming to go and hunt old content, and it never really goes anywhere because nothing disappears on the internet. But being able to categorize information with a hashtag makes your life easier, makes you look like a rock star. I was just in California at a conference, and they said, we've never done this before, but we have a hashtag this year for the conference. I was like, all right. So they announced the hashtag, and I had attendees coming up and saying, did you hear about, you're the social media guy, did you hear about the hashtag? And I go, yeah, did you? They're like, well, I would like to hashtag. Can you walk me through hashtagging? And I'm like, You got it. Pull your Facebook post out real quick. All right, let's take a quick selfie. Okay, our hashtag is BNI Buzz. She goes, okay, great. BNI Buzz. And she goes, what's the conference? I go, BNI 2015. She goes, post. She goes, I go, congratulations, you just hashtag. She goes. She was like, what, older lady, and but I was so cool that she was like so in it. She's like, I totally want a hashtag. So the rest of the conference, and I was there for 9 days, the rest of the conference was like, hashtag, everything was hashtag. It was that bit from, Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon, hashtag this. If you haven't seen that, go Google that. So Wydesta here, I don't know what picture she's taking with Christmas lights in her shoes and getting all artsy with the program. That's cool. Hey, I embrace whatever it takes to get you through the day. What most concerns me is the comment for the picture is filled with approximately 25 hashtags. But she wasn't done yet. She was going in on those comments with probably another 50 hashtags. Now, granted, these hashtags do work on Instagram when they are relevant to your brand and what you're talking about. If you're just trying to hijack or, I don't know what the appropriate word would be. It's kind of like, it's a photo bomb of hashtagging, right? Hashtag bomb, is that what that would be? Then obviously you can get some traction from a relevant audience, but I don't want to talk to people, even though it's a popular subject, about what I do if they have nothing, if we don't have anything in common. So it doesn't really make sense. So you want to make it relevant. They say between 5 and 10 hashtags, but what I like to do is if I post something on Instagram, you can go nuts with the hashtags, but then make the post to Facebook separate, say something different, don't have, I wouldn't even use hashtags on Facebook unless it's like one. One's okay. But it's like over, it's out of control. It's certified out of control. All right. This is probably the highlight of the conversation. This is the icing on the cake and the end all tell all here. And why? Because it's what gets me the most excited, because I see so much opportunity out there that's not being done. And I think it's just time. I don't think that anybody in this room doesn't give a rip about social media, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here having lunch with us today, right? So it's clear that it's relevant and it's important. How do we find time for it, and how do we keep it out of the backseat? By show of hands, let's be honest. We're on Periscope. How many people put social media in the backseat? For your agency, not for your client, for your agency. A couple people. Okay, cool. So it's a priority for a majority that we've got in here. No? Okay. And then how many people put it in the backseat for their clients? Because you're more concerned about the contractual agreements of what you are in the PR realm, which is get me exposure, get me placement. I find a lot happening in an ongoing conversation. And I say that to challenge your thought process a little bit, because this stuff is not slowing down. My friend Gary Vaynerchuk says that social media is overthrowing governments in the Middle East. Do you really have the audacity to think it's not affecting your brand or the clients that you work with? This stuff is serious, and it's not going anywhere. And Facebook has anchored itself into the world. It was not going anywhere whatsoever. They just built a 500,000 square foot, about the size of this bad boy, with a full park on the roof. They are not going anywhere. And they're doing good for the world market. His wife, Priscilla, are aggressively working at bringing the internet worldwide as the Internet.org project. So not only are they incredible philanthropists, but they're doing stuff to really make our lives better, right? When Facebook changes, everybody gets mad. Like I heard them say, I think Mark said in one of the town hall meetings, they stream them when they have them online, and he said, we make all these changes so that you guys don't mess it up. Because people ruin everything, right? We mess it up. So they want to make sure that we don't do that. Putting social in the back seat. Leverage new technology, okay? So with Periscope, people say, why would you Periscope? Periscope is an interactive platform. Ideally, I'm streaming, and people are having conversations, and they're commenting, etc., which is good and bad. There's people that comment positively, and there's trolls. Those are ones that just call you all kinds of crazy names. And I laugh because I think they're funny, but at the same, when you're going back to reuse the content, that's kind of the kicker. In fact, so the first time today, I'm Periscoping this talk, but I turned off the comments. So I don't know if that's going to get a little, but last time I recorded this talk with PRSA, we did it with Periscope, and I'm glad that I did, because I believe the gentleman that he's a professor, correct? The one that mentioned my name? So I had a scheduling conflict. I was supposed to come talk to his class. I wasn't able to make it up to Boca, so I felt off. I didn't want to just flake on the guy. He was really just a huge fan of the talk, and we had a chance to connect and exchange emails, and I said, can I send you the recording of the talk that we recorded on Periscope, and then my deck, and then you can use that to fill your 30-minute gap in your class. And he did, we're able to pull it off. But the reason I illustrate that for you is to help you better understand that it's not just streamed so I can say, hey, look at me. I mean, duh, I'm already doing it. I got a bow tie on. Of course I'm doing that. I'm just kidding. I'm doing it so that I can take the content and then use it later. So I'll create a blog, I'll put it on YouTube, and I'll take the embedded code, and I'll create a blog post, and I'll tweet that out, and I'll schedule it out for the next month, and I'll use popular hashtags. All I want to do is speak publicly, and I do a lot of it, but it's an ongoing conversation constantly. So what I'll do is I'll have this content, and this will be all geared and targeted towards people that book speakers. Right, building relationships and events and ongoing, having conversations and listening constantly, and I try to leverage that because the first thing people say is we'd love to have you come talk. Can we see one of your past talks if they don't know who you are? Periscope for events, for client stuff. Why would I utilize this stuff? So if you have a dentist that's a client of yours, and you're helping them with social media, you want to bring new things in, you want to look like the cool kid on the block and say, hey, let's Periscope. What will we Periscope about? Maybe just a dentist minute on Mondays. It's the Monday dentist minute. Did you know that brushing for 3 minutes has a significant impact than just brushing for 2.5 minutes? And here's why. And break that down in a minute. And then take that Periscope and put it on YouTube and upload it to Facebook. And create a blog post and share it and schedule it in future times and tell other people about it. So when people are Googling that dentist, you ever find a video when you're looking for something? Oh my goodness, it's crazy, right? You get it purposeful like that, right? Because people... okay, let's take it a step further. Have you ever found a video when you're looking for something, and then that video actually helped you do something? I remember putting together a bed frame. There's 4 pieces there, folks. I guarantee you it's not as easy as it looks. So I did it. Pulled up YouTube. I was like, start, stop. I'm tripping over the thing, but I finally got the bed frame put together. But I found that out through searching online. The band Journey. Any Journey fans? They found their lead singer from the Philippines singing at a wedding, and this guy nails it. But they found him. They found the Biebs on YouTube. Any Bieber fans? I wasn't before, but he cleaned up his act in his new album. It's fire. Just saying, just throwing that out there. I have a 14-year-old, so I'm like, she's brainwashing me. Tickets just went on sale today. So customer service and social media in the C-suite is really starting to take presence, and I get excited about that because the C-suite we're the toughest crowd. I don't ever want to say convince, because I don't try to convince anybody on what we're doing here with this whole social thing, but get them on board and turn the corner as far as where we're at. 55% of the C-suite now values social customer service. Anybody ever complained to a brand or got a problem solved through social media? It works. It works. Why do I need to use Twitter? Because you're a local business and people will talk about me. They already are. Are you part of the conversation or are you not? So Twitter allows you to be part of that conversation. 19% are in tone of voice on social influencers and other channels. So brands are looking to influencers to be able to tell the story of their brand, right? Not everybody can afford to hire a celebrity, a large brand, to be an endorsement. Well, that doesn't really matter anymore. You can find internet celebrities and YouTube celebrities and influencers, individuals that have followings that pertain to what you're doing, right? If you had a bow tie client, right, I'd probably be a pretty good guy to wear your client's bow tie and create content and talk about what he's doing and plug him and bring him up on my show weekly and utilize him and leverage him as the sponsor and etc. To be able to get the word out, right? Because I wear bow ties, it's congruent with the brand. It makes perfect sense. But it's not always that. I get calls for things that are outside in my perfect world. They would call me for sports cars, bow ties, golf. In a perfect world, but I don't. I get called for crazy, applications, new products that are out. I have to turn down a lot of the stuff too because people are just crazy. I'm like, I'm not talking about that publicly. I appreciate your audacity for being able to get this product to market. Not a fit. My 14-year-old watches my content. Sometimes it has to be. I think there's a lot of influencers that would out there that would work for a paycheck, but I believe that has to be a fit for a brand. And you guys, from a public relations and PR standpoint, obviously know that the strategy aspect is so very important to making sure everything blends together. 26% of people take social seriously as a customer service tool. So people. So we got the C-suite going, this stuff's awesome. We got more than half one. This is awesome. Let's continue to crank that out. We're solving problems. We're cutting phone times down. We are getting better ratings online. People are talking about us. They're creating content, etc. We're getting things resolved. The airline industry has really done an exceptional job of at least communicating and getting back to you and helping you change a flight and apologizing for keeping you on the tarmac for 2 hours, etc. They're doing a really good job, except for Spirit Airlines. Did I just say that? I did just say that, didn't I? So here's some tools for increasing your fans and followers, just some stuff that my team uses, that I've come across in the past, that I've heard about. Tweet PI gets you new Twitter followers targeted. So you go in, you log in, type in specific keywords, phrases, find people unique, that common interest, and you can follow them and they'll follow you back. And once you're part of that ecosystem, then people start to find you. FameBit, you can find online influencers. FameBit's a great website. I'm on FameBit. I'm able to go on and look for opportunities and be able to apply for them. So they ask about my following and what niche and who my audience is and where the content is and how many views you have on your videos. And they want to know all about you socially so that it then matches up with what the brand or product is. So myself as an influencer can go in and apply for these opportunities, but also brands can go in and post what their opportunities and sift through and they can find. So it's a matchmaking service for influencers and for brands. It's really awesome. BuzzSumo is a content generator, generates content. But what in the world do I write about or talk about? Well, might as well share that article. It's in the trending news. Fresh ideas. This is a URL. Portent.com/tools/title maker. That's a really cool link. Just trust me on that. You'll go there because you can type in a couple keywords. It's like a word jumble type deal, but it gives you it's an idea jumbler. Jumbler, is that a word? It is now. Riddle.com, you can create quizzes for your content. People like quizzes. They like to be interactive. They like to engage with what you're doing and talk and interact. Social Bro, find customers via Twitter. Social Bro is a social listening tool. Social listening. People are typing things about what your clients do, about what you do. Gosh, I need a new publicist. Mine sucks. Sounds like an opportunity to me. So, and Instagram. So not every brand needs Instagram, okay? Not every brand needs Instagram. If you have a product, if you have a service, if you demonstrate, talk about something, if you want to get the word out, you want to build a captive audience, there's a lot of brands that are utilizing Instagram and don't really need to be, but are hilarious. The first one that comes to mind is, what are the airport dudes? TSA. There we go, hilarious. That account, hilarious. So they shed some light and make fun at certain times of what people attempt to get through security, and it's just really hilarious. So that's one that I think of. They don't really need to have an Instagram account because, I mean, you can go file a complaint with the TSA and they're like, that's cool, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, that pat down was a little too much, so that was included with your flight. Smartphones are not losing popularity. Right? Everyone's got them, parents have them, grandparents have them. We're living in a selfie-induced world. So these things are not losing popularity as these continue to gain popularity, and they will because they're just going to get faster and smaller and cooler, and eventually we're just going to be like, do you see my new phone? Where? Right here. We've already got the Apple phone. That's another talk. I don't know. I'm not getting into that yet. Customers see 100% of your posts. There's no pay to play on Instagram yet. They've just launched their ad platform. Anybody can use it now. It used to be just big brands, so you could scan, see fancy little pictures of McDonald's. Did I use the word fancy and McDonald's in the same sentence? No. Now you can, within the ad platform on Facebook, because Instagram bought Facebook, you should get that memo. You can run ads on Instagram and do sponsored posts. That's really, really new. So I haven't ventured into those waters yet, but I will. So the days of getting the word out from your brand, I believe all of your content will still be able to be seen. I don't think they're going to say a brand, because it's tough to decide for a brand and an individual on Instagram. There's not an Instagram business panel or a platform, an Instagram personal platform. So it's one and the same. So I don't know if they're going to do that. I think it's just the more people continue to join Instagram, the more noise there is. And if you want to rise above that noise, you can give us a couple, $2, $3, and we can make that happen. Engagement is much higher on Instagram. You get more likes. You know, we're living in a digitally addicted world. I don't know if you guys do this or not. We post something, and then we sit and we wait for that shot of dopamine that goes right to our brain and says, I'm pretty awesome. Did you see that 50 likes? Yeah. Sorry, you just got 15. Sorry, I apologize. 50 likes. That's what our brain is saying. Obviously, people are not publicly saying that, but it is really creating a world of narcissism. It really, really is. And I know that social media is here for us to be social, right? But social media is not here for us to be selfish. fish, right? And it's a little difficult, you know, and it's okay. We can thank Instagram models and stuff like that for things of that nature. But I believe that'll continue to flush it out, because what do we want to consume? Do we want to consume self-absorbed brands and individuals and their content, or do we want to absorb content that actually does something for us, makes us feel awesome? Should we take a picture? I think obviously the latter. You can buy you can build a targeted following through hashtags. Strategic. These are some popular ones, actually. You see a lot of these. Throwback Thursday, repost. Don't use Throwback Thursday unless it's Thursday. That's just weird. Repost, inspiration, inspire, Webstagram, Tweetgram. I have seen a significant increase in likes. I don't know who these people are, so I don't really care about the significant increase, but maybe you can make some new connections by utilizing popular hashtags. This conversation is still ongoing as to who, no one owns hashtags, which one is really effective. I go with the basics. What hashtags are relevant to the brand and the message that you're trying to convey? And who are you trying to reach? And this isn't in the deck either, but you can go on Instagram and you can geo-target people. So everybody that's checked into NCCI Holdings, you can see all their posts, and you can connect with them and talk to them. Oh, you work here too? Cool, hey, what's happening? Or you can go to, if you've got a local business and you type in Boca Raton, you can go and find people that have checked in Boca Raton, or checked into, maybe your customer is a chiropractor, next door is a candy shop. You can go to everybody that's checked into that candy shop, start talking to those people. Say, hey, next time you're getting your back cracked, you should come over and crack open a candy cane. And you can start conversations with these people. The data and the conversation is there. You just have to jump into it. You've obviously got to find time to be able to go and do that. Instagram allows you to be as creative as you possibly can with being able to, this goes back to the original, creating content. So being creative is, how do we rise above the noise and do some really cool stuff? And if you look at some brands that are doing some really cool stuff online, it gives you some idea of what you could potentially do to be interested. If you don't know and you're stuck on that, that's when you figure out what professional may be a fit to work with your agency or for your client to do what you don't do. I don't do public relations, but I know some incredible publicists, right? So all of my public relations business that may come in goes right to them, and then they don't do social media. So by default, everything that comes in, and it's a perfect fit. I love when that happens and that we're able to bridge that gap, that everybody kind of stays in their lane, but we're all collaborating for the common goal of exposing the client as much as possible. You can brand yourself through content. You can brand your content, you brand your agency, you can brand yourself. I branded myself with bow ties. I can't leave the house without one now. So it's like a Sunday morning at Publix, like, come on. Let me get the t-shirt, or maybe a little pin, bow tie here. I've mastered the shirt, bow tie, shorts, and flip-flops too. It's like the outside Miami, I got that done. I got that. I didn't wear my flip-flops today. It makes your brand easier to search for. So if you go to the search bar, you type in cheerleaders under a hashtag, it's going to show you all the hashtags that pertain to cheerleaders. Right? So if you sell little bows for cheerleaders, it's probably a good hashtag for you to go search. Right? Whatever popular hashtags are, find out how that associates to what you're working on, the projects you're working on, or maybe your agency or your brand. Find out what's relative. Maybe you're in the flower business. You're a florist. You want everybody's talking about flowers and Boca, right? Instagram will tell you that. You can go start conversations with these people. That doesn't mean start going to sell them. People come out swinging. That means liking their picture, commenting, this is really cool, how are you, great to connect with you. It's not weird to talk to people anymore. 10 years ago, if you said you were following me, I'd call the police. Yeah. Now it's pretty common. I mean, it is the norm. Hey, Sebastian, we're connected online. Every time I say that, hey, we're friends on Facebook, that doesn't mean much these days. But it is the norm to be able to connect online and then have some perfect stranger come up to you and say, hey, we're connected on Facebook. It's finally great to meet you in person. I'm like, creepy, but awesome. Yeah. IFTTT. Anyone? Any fans? IFTTT. It's a, somebody corrected me last time. I want to say a programming code. Anyway, it stands for if, this, then, that. It's a website, ifttt.com. It's incredible. It basically allows you to create all these really cool recipes. Let me give you a quick example of one you can wrap your head around immediately, right? So every time Facebook and Twitter used to be, or Instagram and Twitter used to be friends. That's not the case anymore. So when you post a picture on Instagram and you say, let's share it on Twitter, it's just the blurb about the picture and a link and people have to click out. I mean, you got to click out. I mean, we're not clicking, you know, it's like copying and pasting. I set up a recipe that says every time I post a picture on Instagram, I want that picture, instead of it just being shared from Instagram to Twitter, I want IFTTT to share that through a recipe that says, look, we're going to post this as a twit pic. So when people are strolling through Twitter, they see I posted a picture on Instagram, but they actually see the picture in their stream, and they don't have to click away. I've saved them an extra half a second. Right? People help people. It's a beautiful thing. My friend Sarah Evans is incredible at IFTTT. She does talks on it. She's like the tool queen. She's awesome. She's a digital correspondent. I wear bow ties. She wears really cool glasses. And she took the time to actually put together her favorite recipes. And there's like 10 of them that will make your life easier. If you go to bit.ly/Sarah is cool, and you'll be able to see all of those recipes that she's come up with. But you will most definitely thank Sarah later, not me. I'm just the messenger here. And you can send her a tweet and say, this dude in the bow tie was talking about you and give me all your recipes, and your recipes make my life awesome. So thank you and congratulations on your new baby. Thanks, folks. Questions?
Any questions?